Good afternoon, fans and followers of China Rising Radio Sinoland. This is Jeff J. Brown in Shenzhen, just south of the Tropic of Cancer. And today I'm not drinking tea nor coffee. Today I'm actually drinking soup. This is my wife's famous French recipe made from pumpkin and carrot. And in it is added some la vache qui rit, the laughing cow, the cheese, the soft cheese that kids love to eat. And it's got some laughing cow in it. And boy, it's just so good. And I put some canned pepper, crushed pepper in it. Man, it's awesome. Good for my throat, too. All right. Wipe my mouth and be proper. Today's podcast is entitled Chinese Gold Still Number One While Reflecting on a Philippine Ore Plant Visit. There's a picture of a gold merchant store and the byline says, I can walk into any branch bank in China and buy a dizzying array of pure gold products, from ingots to coins to jewelry and commemorative pieces, from 10 grams to 1 kilogram. Pictured above is a Chinese gold merchant selling all kinds of gold objects. You have the money? Buy all you want. Note, when finishing reading, listening to, and or watching this column and podcast, sharing is caring about humanity's future and getting the non-mainstream truth out to a wider audience. Please tell your family, friends, and colleagues about China Rising Radio Sinoland. Post it and follow it on all of your social media. Sign up for the email alerts on this blog page so you don't miss a beat. China is your key to understanding how the world works and where you're headed into the 21st century. So read the China Trilogy. You will be so glad you did. Alrighty, here's the podcast. The China Gold Association, the CGA, just released their 2017 report. Quoting from it in Chinese, which I translated for you, 2017 is the year that gold enterprises face their greatest pressure. Nevertheless, gold production in mainland China has been number one in the world for 11 consecutive years through 2017, and gold consumption has ranked first in the world for 5 consecutive years. In 2017, China produced a total of 426.142 tons of gold, a decrease of 27.344 tons, or 6.03% from the same period of 2016. The actual consumption of gold was 1,089.07 tons, an increase of 9.41% over the same period of last year, due to continued growth in sales of gold jewelry, bullion, and industrial gold use. 2017 is the first time that gold output has fallen sharply since 2000. The main reason is that mainland China has introduced green taxes, resource tax policies, as well as the withdrawal of mining rights within eco-functional zones, such as nature reserves, and the reduction or closure of some gold mining enterprises. End of quote from the CGA report. What all this means is that Baba Beijing is still mining the hell out of gold, but is now doing it in a more environmentally and socially responsible fashion, which is wonderful news. My wife and I toured a gold ore extraction plant in Mindanao, Philippines, just a week after Rodrigo Duterte had been elected president in 2016. One of his campaign promises was to close down thousands of illegal gold mines and ore extraction plants because of their destruction to the environment and loss of life among the workers. Thus, we were curious to see how it all worked. After our visit, we were and are in total agreement with Duterte. They use cyanide and mercury to extract 200 grams of 20-karat gold out of 30,000 kilograms of low-grade ore. Even if it's high-grade content ore, it doesn't matter since the process is the same. I climbed up to look down into one of the 30 metric ton ore slurry vats and almost passed out from the cyanide gas. Just being up there for a few minutes and I was sick and coughing the rest of the day with a throbbing headache and dizziness. Workers were up there with nothing more than cotton masks, and they were breathing that noxious fog for days on end. We met the owner, not over 50 years of age, and trying to sell the place, shaking like he had severe Parkinson's disease from all the poison his body had absorbed over the last 10 years while working the ore crushers, vats, and filters, as well as the acetylene torches to get the black 20-karat stuff from the vats up to 24-karat purity. About the only safe thing we saw was the borax, also called boric acid, they used to coat the coarse gold before heating it up with the torches. But the fumes are toxic, so unless a proper chemical ventilation hood is used, watch out! Do I need to ask if this place had one? Get out of here! We also saw where this processing plant's effluent ended up. The untold thousands of cubic meters of cyanide-drenched, leftover waste sludge. They just opened the cyanide tank faucets below with a filter under the drain mouth to catch the tiny black nuggets of gold, only to let the rest of it run into a farm field at, oh my gosh, a sticky page here, at slightly lower elevation. The vat now emptied, they spent hours with their backs bent over the poison slurries, breathing the fumes as they sifted through the muck looking for the small nuggets of impure gold. They were wearing flip-flops, shorts, no gloves, and no masks. Yikes! Over the years, this unmanaged, meandering lagoon of death was now hundreds of meters across and just as long. Want to buy some rice and farm produce grown nearby? Bon appetit! Plants take up the cyanide and mercury and it ends up in the food chain while remaining in the soil for years. And for all other living things, they spell death and mental retardation, respectively. It was truly an ecological disaster zone. How many tens of thousands of these small, unregulated gold ore extraction plants are there everywhere gold is mined in the developing world? We couldn't visit an illegal gold mine as planned because rains had made the dirt road impassable, but we researched that they are generally death traps with collapses and explosions, the order of the day, not to mention permanent safety and environmental problems once the mines are abandoned. Maybe it was good that we didn't get to go. As we sat and talked with the ore extraction plant owner, shaking and rocking violently, whose days on earth were obviously fewer than mine, with me being many years older, my wife and I were so disturbed by what we saw that we took a long, hard pause. We buy physical gold and hold it for our retirement, one little 50-gram Chinese ingot at a time, as we slowly save up the money each round. Did we want to support this environmental debauchery, not to mention the broken, shortened lives of everyone who has so few options and opportunities in life? As people of simple means and further along life's timeline, we feel we have no other choice, knowing that all investment markets around the world are as rigged as a cricket roulette table and gold prices are being artificially suppressed in order to keep the values of the US dollar and euro from falling through the floor. Gold is something we can buy that is truly undervalued and has a decent chance of appreciating before we die. Thus, reading that Baba Beijing actually produced 27.3 metric tons less gold last year in order to limit or improve what we saw in the Philippines does assuage our consciences a little, since we only buy Chinese gold. If that's the cost for less polluted lands, water, food, and longer living gold industry workers and their neighbors, then that is a price well worth paying, even if it means spending more for the stuff. So cheers to Baba Beijing for doing the right thing and making gold investing saner and safer. And here's to hoping that President Duterte can follow through on his promise to close down all the illegal gold mines and ore extraction plants in the Philippines. Many countries have what are called blood diamonds. Many others have toxic gold. I have reported a number of times about the role of gold in Chinese finance, investing, history, and daily life, often with my good buddies Rory Hall at the Daily Coin and Dave Kranzler at Investment Research Dynamics. And there's a list of 8 articles that I have discussed, where I've discussed gold, about China and gold. At the end of the article are a few photos of our 2016 visit to the gold ore extraction plant in Mindanao, Philippines. Let's close out this golden article and podcast with a favorite artist from my youth, Neil Young. I've listened to the studio version of Heart of Gold from his Harvest album about 1,000 times over the decades. Below is a wonderful 1971 live version where he fumbles around to find the right harmonica to play, quote, this new song, end of quote, he had just written. It is priceless. My gosh, in 1971, I was in 11th grade, almost 50 years ago. And here are the bylines to the photos from the Philippine gold ore extraction plant. Picture number 1. It all starts with low-grade gold ore that arrives from illegal mines up in the low mountains nearby. That palm-sized chunk sits in front of me at my desk in Shenzhen to remind me of that day at the ore extraction plant. And in fact, for you YouTube people, I can actually show it to you. You lucky guys and gals, there it is right there. That is low-grade ore. That is from the plant that we visited in Mindanao. Picture number 2, a general view of the plant standing above the tall 30 metric ton cyanide vats looking down. The huge cylinders are ore crushers, loud as hell, which turn for days on end to reduce ore rocks down to pea gravel, coarse sand size. Picture number 3. These are settling pools with smaller tanks in the background that are full of highly toxic mercury to extract the gold from the slurry. Here is one of the, this is the next picture, I'm sorry. Here is one of the 30 metric ton slurry tanks full of cyanide-soaked ore slurry. It has big, flat, spinning blades that keep the toxic concoction moving to expose all the ore to the cyanide, which binds with the gold to precipitate it out. The toxic smell knocked my head off and left me sick as a dog the rest of the day. Picture number 5. There you can see an empty 50-kilogram barrel of hydrogen cyanide that was dumped into the vat with the ore, which was then filled up with water to make the slurry. The empty bag is limestone, which reacts with the cyanide in the slurry to increase gold precipitation. And picture number 6, there it is, some of the 200 grams of 20-karat gold from 30,000 kilograms of low-grade ore rock. That comes out to a 0.0007% yield. Take it up to 24-karat gold with the acetylene torches and borax, and the results are minuscule, about 150 grams. At today's prices, this is about $6,300. Notice the laborer is unprotected, working around all that cyanide and mercury. 100 meters away is the lagoon of death. And then the final picture, this is the area where they take the coarse gold, mix it with borax, and purify it up to pure gold using the acetylene torch you see. There is no ventilation hood, so the workers also get poisoned from all the fumes produced by the hot flame. Man, that was a rough day. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out from Shenzhen, and have a wonderful day.